It's Tracy. Today I'm going to be doing the second part of my colorless card advantage thing. Like, I've done like the first part of this, and basically it's like a series on my channel where I talk about like I list 10 cards that I think are really good card advantage options in EDH. I phrased it instead of saying card draw as card advantage because I think it's a little bit more widespread, and like some of these cards just help you get card advantage. Yes, they draw you cards, scrying, like that whole sort of thing. So these are cards that I think are really good options in EDH. I will list in the description box the first part that I've done. I'm chilling with my Balor Club shirt right now, showing off some love and support for my favorite wrestler, Finn Balor. He's been injured right now. I'm real sad about it, so we're like crossing our fingers that he will make an appearance at WrestleMania. Let's hope. Well, let's just say he's my favorite male wrestler. My favorite female wrestler, I have a many. I have several female wrestlers that I love. Wrestling's great. Alright, so I actually applied. Funny, I'm talking about this. I actually applied for a job for the WWE. I'm so not gonna get it, but like I applied for a job for them, which is really cool. It's like a writing like producer. You like write scripts and stuff. I was like, oh, I could do that. I'm a writer. Anyways, that's not the point of this video. Let's talk. So, the first card is Igor Wellspring. If you're running any sort of like artifact recursion in EDH, I think this card is really strong because it enters the battlefield, you just auto, or even like flicker effects too. It enters the battlefield and then you just flicker that and then it keeps entering the battlefield. You draw a card. If someone wipes all artifacts or if you wipe out all artifacts, you just kind of get to like draw another card. It's only 2 mana for the ability too, which is really good. It's like a flexible like type card, so I think this card is really good. Like I know Duretti builds, I feel like that when that came out, that was like a huge thing that I just got really tired of seeing Duretti decks because I'm so sick of this, but I feel like a lot of like types of builds would want to run a card like this. So yeah. Now we have a card that Tracy doesn't really like. Sensei's Divining Top. Okay, so here's the deal. Here's why I don't like this card. I like the card because it's really, really good. I don't like it because it's really, really good. So you look at the top 3 and you put them back in any order. So it's kind of like a scry effect, but you don't get to draw any cards from it, but then you can tap it to draw a card, and then you put Sensei's Divining Top on top of its library, so basically you just can't get rid of this card. You just can't get rid of it. So if you're playing against this card, it's super not fun, because your opponent's just like, I'm racking in so much card advantage, and it's just nuts. Kind of want one, not gonna lie. Kind of want one for Tasker, because it's a really good value card, but I don't know. I think it's really good too if you've got like a lot of shuffling going on because you're looking at the top 3 for only 1 mana, which is like really strong, or any sort of thing, any sort of like synergy where you're shuffling a lot, you're manipulating what's on top of your deck so that you can have that sort of ability, and then tap to draw a card. So you kind of, in a sense, lose a little bit of advantage because then you, because you put Sensei's Divining Top on top after you draw a card, so after you draw Sensei's Divining Top, you're like, okay, I'm kind of out a card, I guess, but then you probably just recast it, so yeah, anyways. I don't know. I have personally, like, mixed feelings about this card. Like, I understand why it's really popular, I understand why a lot of people really like it. It was reprinted in Eternal Masters, making it more accessible for you guys, which is great. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's a sort of weird card advantage because, again, it's like you lose it in a sense when you have to like redraw it. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's a really popular EDH card and for drawing, and not only does it have a drawing ability, you do get to look at the top 3, which I think is really good, so it has a sort of scry ability. So you can manipulate what's on top if you like don't like those cards. Okay. Picture here, don't know how to say this. Something I don't even know. Archive. So basically, this is really good, I think, if you're running a sort of strategy in EDH where you are gaining lots of life. Like, you're playing, like, black-white, or, like, I remember I had, like, the sweetest, it wasn't really that sweet, it was, like, this Extort deck. Oh, you guys remember Extort? Yeah, okay, those were the days. That was kind of, like, my jam. I had Orzhov, not Orzhov, Obsidat as my commander. It was really sweet. So if you do any sort of thing like that, you sort of gain life, this card's really good. But even if you say, like, don't have that and you just really need colorless card draw, this is really good because if you draw a card, except the first one, you draw 2 of them instead. So it doesn't count for your first card draw. So like say you just draw a card for a turn, it doesn't count for that. So you need to have some sort of synergy where you're drawing lots of cards. So I think it can work in a lot of different builds. I think it can work in a lot of different decks. Some decks probably will negate the first part of this ability because you don't really gain like a lot of life. But even if you have a little bit of life gain, I think this card's really, really solid if you're doing some sort of gain life strategy. The next card is one of like my personal favorite in CBVH. I run this card in like essentially all of my EDH decks, and that is Solemn Simulacrum. Solemn is good for so many reasons. So first things first, he ETBs, you get a land. Sweet. It's basic, great. It's also, like I said, it's colorless, which is awesome, so you can run it in like everything, and I run it in like everything. And then when it dies, you draw a card. It's a great blocker. It just kind of sits there and it's like, okay, I'm waiting for you to like, you know, kill me off. It's also an artifact creature, so if you're running things like the destroy all artifacts, if you're running things like being in progress, things like that, this card's really good because it removes this card as well from the game, which is the advantage of it being not only an artifact, but a creature as well. And it's susceptible to creature removal as well. So like if you have a board wipe, it gets rid of Solemn, which is really good, so. And you're going to want to run those cards anyway. You're going to want to run those board wipes and things like that. So this card's really versatile, really good. Just like EDH staple by far. Okay, then we have, I just want to say this card's name all the time. Mindless Automaton. That is just so fun. Can we just like get a campaign for this name because it's really fun. Okay, so 4 mana. It starts off 0/0. Enters the battlefield with 2 +1/+1 counters on it, so it's 2/2. 1 mana. You discard a card and you put a +1/+1 counter on it, which is like really good. Because if you got some sort of like discard action going on where you want things in your graveyard, you're running like Waste Not, you're running like Liliana Vest, like you're doing like all the things, that's great. Then you remove 2 counters on it to draw a card, which I really like. You can do this at instant speed, so someone goes to kill it and you're like, whatever. Works really well, I think, in like sort of any sort of like discard draw type strategies where you want things in your graveyard, and maybe even your opponent's graveyard for different synergies like this. So card is good. Okay. Then we have, mean card. Mean card. Kozilek, or Kozilek, I just call him Cozy personally, the Great Distortion. I just really love the image of like this giant Eldrazi having like this adorable pet name like Cozy. Can we just like appreciate that for a sec? Because I do. Okay, so, you know, 10 mana for a 12/12. Casual, don't worry about it. So when you cast it, if you have fewer than 7 cards in your hand, you draw cards equal to the difference. So, you know, say you just have, like, no cards in your hand, you just draw all these cards, which is great. And it's got Menace. And then you can discard cards to counterspell. This card just does everything with that X cost. This card just kind of does everything. It draws cards, synergizes really well with itself and with other things too, which I really like. So it's like not only do you get to like draw cards, you can like counter things, and then you're just left with this 12/12 with Menace. Yeah. Cozy, real good. I like him a lot. Super rude. At least he doesn't have an Annihilator. Okay, that would just be broken. He's kind of already busted, but he would just be way worse. Alright. I feel like this card hits home for a lot of people because they just really like the flavor on it, and I'm kind of guilty too because I really like the flavor. Trading Post. So Trading Post does a lot of things. It doesn't just draw you cards, it does everything basically. Tap target, everything. So 1 mana, you tap it. Discard a card, you gain 4 life. Sweet, I like it. Again, any sort of thing where you want things in your graveyard, you got a little graveyard recursion going on there. Oh, sweet, I like it. 1 mana, you pay 1 life. You put a 0/1 goat on the battlefield. Blockers for Ds. I remember like playing against this card one time, and I was like, wow, my opponent has no creatures, and like swing with my thing, and they were like, make a goat, blocks your 20/20, don't even care. I was like, oh, that card does that. Really good. 1, you untap, sack a creature, return target artifact from your graveyard to your hand. So yeah, if you're running like graveyard recursion, like artifact things, you need to be running this card. And then you sack an artifact to draw a card. So say you want to do some synergies with Igor Wellspring, the first card I talked about, sack that artifact, you draw a card, then you draw a card off that, you draw 2 cards, for 1 mana, which is real good. So yeah, this card is really awesome. I like that it has it's very versatile, it draws you cards, but it also does all these other sweet things. Okay, then we have Tammy Oz Journal. I really want to see people with clue EDH decks. Is that a thing? Do people do that? Because I think it's sweet. So being able to keep you investigate, you get like a little clue token, so you get to draw cards off those. So that's great. I think Investigate's a really cool mechanic. Like, I have Tireless Tracker in my Omnath deck, and it's just so good. Like, it is, like, I was like, oh, this card's kind of meh, and then I played with it, and I was like, there's a reason why this card's like $9. It's really fantastic. I need to get that for my ladies deck, I think, as well, because I think that deck needs, like, some card draw help. Okay. Then you tap it and you sack 3 clues to search your library for a card. So say you're just desperate and you just need cards in your hand, you can just auto sack those clue tokens that you get. And again, if you're doing any sort of other like investigate clues, this card's really good with that. But then you can just sack those to tutor for a card, basically. Card's like really good. I personally think this works way better with other, you know, investigate type things, but I think you could just run it on its own too if you're like desperate for card draw. Okay, then we have Staff of Domination, which is kind of another like catch-all card. It kind of just does a lot of different things. So what I really like about this too is like, so the card's really interesting that it's got like these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 abilities, but for one you can just untap it. So say you use the 3rd ability, you can just 3, and then you can just want to tap it and do that ability again, or do something else. It's very versatile. So 2, you gain 1 life, 3, you untap target creature, 4, you tap target creature, 5, you just draw a card. And again, if you've got like all this mana and like nothing to do with it because you have like no cards in your hand, or you just need to have cards in your hand because you just need to draw an answer, you can just use this ability. And again, that synergy with untapping it. There's also an infinite combo with this, and it's a creature. What is it? What is it? Paul has it and it's in Spanish. And I know the art, it's a 1/2 artifact for 3 mana. You reveal colorless cards from your hand, and then you get like that mana doubled, and I can't think of what it is right now, but there's like an infinite combo with that. But anyways, yeah, card's really versatile, draws you cards if you need to, and again, you can just untap it, which is great. Okay, then we have, as last card, is Relic of Progenitus. And if you're someone who, you're in your play group and people are playing a lot of these graveyard synergies, but you don't want to be super oppressive and run a card like Rest in Peace, Relic of Progenitus is a really good answer for you. That's why I love running like Bajuka Bog in my deck, because it's just such a good answer to things. So, you know, you can just tap this ability so that they exile things from your graveyard, but then you get to exile all cards from all graveyards. So you do have to exile Relic of Progenitus, so you can't bring it back, because let's be real here, that would be dumb. And then you just exile all cards from graveyards, and then you get to draw a card out of it. So not only do you get to draw a card, but you also get like this sweet ability of like exiling things from graveyards. So you can just stop your opponent from doing things. No, don't like that. Don't do that. So yeah. Card's good. So yeah, that was it. That was all I wanted to talk to you guys about for colorless card draw. I will see you guys on Saturday with my newest video, and I'll talk to you later.